Hello, I'm Xander. Welcome to this SQL Fundamentals Query Challenge. Now, you can follow this challenge like a tutorial as a beginner learning SQL, or you can use it to test your existing skills. Every challenge has an individual GitHub repo that you can access via the link connected to the tutorial. Okay, so let's take a look at this challenge. We need to write an SQL query to fetch all root categories from the category table. So a root category is defined as one where parent ID is null. This table has a self-referencing foreign key, which means that we are able to create a hierarchical structure inside of this category table. So here, for example, we have electronics record 1. You can see that's level 0, parent ID null. That's a top level category. Then notice that category 2 and 3 in the parent ID is referencing via this foreign key, parent ID, the first category called electronics, thus building a connection, a relationship between category 2 and 3 with category 1. So we've built this hierarchical structure. Electronics is a parent category, and then we have sub or child categories, laptop and phones. So your goal is to write a query to fetch only the root categories from the category table. Remember, to do that, a root category is defined as one where the parent ID equals null. So in this table, in this example, we have two categories, electronics and clothing, which are both top categories or parent categories. Now that won't be the actual data found in the database, but that's the principles which you need to work from. So do check out the requirements. We are expected to return just the ID name slug and is active field. And we only include categories where parent ID is null, and we need to order the results by name in ascending order. If you need it, there is a link to an ERD diagram so that you can view all the tables in this database, although all we need here is the category table. There is a setup guide if you want to go through creating the Docker containers with the database and then go ahead and run the query in the container. All the instructions are provided here. If you get a little bit stuck, then do watch the first challenge in this series. It'll take you through how to set up the code and run the queries. If you do need help with setup, solutions, and explanations, stick around. I'll walk you through it all. Okay, so let's walk through the setup and solutions. Go ahead and download as a zip or open with GitHub. I've opened up the project in Visual Studio Code. First of all, we're going to need to build. So let's get the containers started. Let's allow. Once the container has started, let's take a look at the instructions. So we started the containers. Let's access now the shell, so that we can access the database. So we've moved into the container. Let's now connect to our database. And now we can start to run some queries. Okay, so first of all, I'll just go through the solution and then we can discuss it further if needed. So first of all, we need to make sure that we select the correct fields as per specification. So we're expecting to select the ID name slug and is active. So let's make sure that we return the correct data. ID name slug is active. Okay. So select ID name slug and is active. So those are the fields. That's the data we're going to return. Where we're going to get this data from? Well, that's going to be the category table. And now we're told that we want to filter the records so that we only return where categories parent ID is null. So only the root categories. So this is where we're going to filter them out and only return the top level categories. So where? So we select the field we want to perform this filter. That's the parent ID field. And we want to make sure that we only return records where this field is null. So where the category is not part of or has not been assigned to a parent ID, thus being a top level category. And then we're asked to order. So we use order by, and in this case, we need to order the results by the name field in ascending order. So it's going to be returned in alphabetical order by the name provided in each record. So ascending, let's give this a go. Okay, so we return 5 rows. So there are 5 records that are currently top level categories. Now, if we take a look at the data that's inserted in the database, we can see that that is correct. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, potentially, there should be 6 records. No, I'm reading this wrong, aren't I? So empty, sorry, ID and then parent ID. Apologies. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that they don't have any values. 5. So there are 5 records that are top level categories. So a quick recap then, select. So this specifies the columns to retrieve from the database. We then define or specify the table from which to fetch the data. We then go ahead and filter. So here we're filtering the results to only include categories where parent ID is null. So this ensures that only the root categories or the parent categories are retrieved. And then we're told to order by ascending order. And we're going to ascending order by name. So you can see here, this is now an alphabetical order by the name of the category. So remember, null here refers to the fact that if we take a look at the actual table, SQL, you can see that the parent ID field will be set to null. Whenever we add any data to the category table, we can leave this field empty. It's not a required field. If we do that, then the database will assign this field to null, meaning that we don't have any values essentially in that field. So we can utilize that, as we've seen, to query to determine which fields are in fact set to null for any record that we have currently in the category database.